The Golden Horn. The Golden Horn, or Halak, meaning waterway, is an estuary flowing into the Bosphorus Strait that bisects Constantinople into its northern and southern halves. Because of its breadth and depth, the Golden Horn has served as a natural harbor since the days of ancient Byzantium. In 1502, after cessation of violence between Ottomans and Venetians, Sultan Bayezid II invited the famous Florentine Leonardo da Vinci to submit a design for a bridge that would span a 250-meter wide section of the Golden Horn. Upon seeing Leonardo's design, however, the Sultan felt the project was too ambitious and scrapped the idea. 4 years later, Bayezid extended the same invitation to a young artist named Michelangelo, but Michelangelo, being a vowed rival of Da Vinci's, refused the Sultan's invitation outright, evidently incensed that Leonardo had been asked first. Constantinople, May 1511.
Magnificent sight.
It is a work in progress.
No city in Europa has a skyline quite like this.
Well, to be precise, that is Europa. That is Asia.
Some borders even the Ottomans cannot move.
Very few. You are Italian by the sound of it, but your outfit is not. Have you been traveling long?
Si, da molto tempo. I left Rome 12 months ago, looking for inspiration. And that search brought me here. When I was a child, my father told me stories about the fall of Constantinople.
You must mean the conquest of Constantinople. I suppose the moral of any story matches the temper of the man telling it.
That we can agree on.
Güzel. Constantinople is a city for all kinds and creeds. Students like me or travelers such as yourself. I have so much work to return to, but it is good to be home.
Work? When I was your age, my interests were mainly salve.
Incredible. I am surprised you got anything done.
As was my mother.
It was a pleasure speaking with you, Bey Effendi. I hope you find something to hold your interest here.
I have faith I will.
Yardım edebilir miyim efendim?
Grazie, dear boy.
A scholar and a gentleman. You are full of surprises.
Very few, my friend. Eksik olmayın.
Hoş geldin kardeşim. Unless the legend is a lie, you are the man I long to meet. Renowned master and mentor. Ezio Auditore de la.
Prego.
Forgive me. I have a hard time remembering that Italian gibberish.
Da Firenze. The city where I was born.
Ah, yes. So, by your custom, I would be Yusuf Tazim da Istanbul. I like that.
Istanbul. Yet another name for this city.
Evet, it's a local favorite. Come, mentor da Firenze. I will show you around.
Prince Suleiman. Everyone in the world knew this guy's name in the 6th century. Suleiman the Magnificent, they called him in the West, the 10th Sultan of Osman's ever-expanding empire. His fellow Turks were also generous with their praise, though far more practical, calling him Suleiman Kanuni, or the Lawgiver, the man responsible for improving the empire's bureaucratic engine, making it run like a well-oiled engine. No small feat for an empire as large as his. But I'm getting ahead of myself, ahead of our present concerns. When Ezio met Suleiman, he was still a young man, with only the faintest hope of ever becoming Sultan. Since his father, Selim, was dead last in the Ottoman hierarchy, so, as befitting a young man of his status and stature, Suleiman threw himself into study with little thought of ever becoming Sultan himself. He was educated at the University in Istanbul and received private tutoring in Topkapi Palace. Little else is known about his early years, except that he was a kind and thoughtful man, and that he had a servant named Ibrahim who he considered to be his best friend. By the time Suleiman was 17, however, Bayezid had recognized his grandson's talent and intelligence and installed him as the governor of a large region north of the Black Sea. Over the next few years, Suleiman would hold a number of similar positions until 1520, when an unexpected tragedy robbed his father of the Sultanate. Suleiman, aged 26, took the throne, a position he would hold for almost 50 years. No pacifist, Suleiman would expand the Ottoman Empire's lands to its furthest points, and by the end of his rule, the lands under his command stretched from Algeria to the Persian Gulf, and from Austria down to Egypt. But for all his expansionist desires, he was a tolerant man and realized that the only way to keep an empire as large as his together was to honor the cultures, traditions, and religions of those living under his auspices. Yusuf Tazim. Abstergo has some data on this guy, gathered a few years back, but there's not a lot about him in standard history books, which I'm sure he'd be happy to know. Yusuf Tazim was a Turk born in Bursa around 1467, but was raised in Constantanople from the age of 8 by his mother. His father was an assassin, and presumably that's how Yusuf became one too. But there's no mention of what happened to Papa Tazim. Was he killed? Did he desert the family? Your guess is as good as mine. By the time he was 17, Yusuf was well known around the city as a rabble-rouser and a petty thief, but a chance meeting with the legendary Vizier Ishak Pasha changed all that. Ishak was an assassin too, operating in the Sublime Porte right under Bayezid II's nose. It was Ishak who had defeated Vlad Tepes and later brokered the tentative truce between Ottomans and assassins. By the late 1480s, he was busy recruiting open-minded citizens of the empire to his order's cause. Yusuf was taken with Ishak's charisma and easy manner of leading, and so joined the assassins just before his 20th birthday. From there, Yusuf's rise was swift and assured, and by 1500 CE he had made quite a name for himself. In 1502, Yusuf met with a contingent of Venetian assassins in Greece in a joint effort to steer the Ottoman-Venetian war to a peaceful end. Those efforts appear to have paid off, for in 1503 the fighting stopped, ushering in a brief era of peace on the Ottoman Empire's western border. Perhaps made complacent by the assassins' successes in keeping the peace, Sultan Bayezid II grew soft in his final decade, preferring his mystical texts and alchemical experiments to governing. This suited the assassins just fine, for a dull peace was preferable to endless war and imperial expansion. But following the earthquake in 1509, a new threat appeared in Constantinople. Templars, fighting under the old Byzantine crest, stirring from years of relative calm. Yusuf once again roused his assassins to begin the long and difficult fight ahead.
What are these Byzantine thugs holding out for? They had their chance once. They nearly destroyed it.
Well, I think before we talk to Yusuf, we can go to the nearby viewpoint and see what the surrounding area of Constantinople looks like. A warm welcome. Master Assassin Yusuf Tazim has welcomed you to Constantinople and would like to give you a tour, get to know him and at the city. Not wander too far from Yusuf.
Welcome to Galata district. For centuries, it has been a home to orphans from Europa and Asia alike. You won't find more diversity anywhere else in the city. And for that reason, assassins make it their home.
I would like to see where.
Kesinlikle. The Brotherhood is always eager to meet the man who put the Borgias out to pasture.
Oh. Does everyone in this city know I'm here already?
Well, your Holy Land tussle with the Templars did not go unnoticed.
When I first set out, violence was so far from my mind. I sought wisdom. The contents of Altair's library.
Not realizing it has been sealed for 3 centuries?
No, I assumed as much. But I never expected to find Templars guarding it.
Very troubling, no? 5 years ago, Templar influence here was minimal. A small faction with dreams of restoring the Byzantine throne. But they're growing in number, day by day. And with Sultan Bayezid on his way out, they may try something dramatic.
Is there no heir to the Ottoman throne?
Not just one, 2 angry sons. It's a familiar pattern with these royals. When the Sultan coughs, the princes draw their swords.
Between the Templars and the Ottomans, you must stay busy.
Ezio, I barely have time to polish my blade. Una mil más. El master work.
I enjoy the
Some for me, eh?
walking thing. Instead of having to control him, he
More Templars! Look sharp!
walks with the person he's talking to.
No, no. Watch.
Byzantium is dead, as are you.
The whole city wakens to welcome you, Ezio. First the regents, now the rats. Ottoman soldiers have a special loathing for these Byzantine thugs. That gives us some breathing room.
How much?
Just a little. They'll still kill you if you look at them wrong. But they will feel bad about it later.
Touching.
It's not so bad, really. For the first time in many decades, the assassins have a strong presence here. It wasn't always that way. Under the Byzantine Emperor, the assassins were hunted down and killed on the spot. We're almost there.
It sounds like the assassins had it pretty rough here in Constantinople for a long time. That's unfortunate. Under Byzantine rule, a purge, pretty much.
This way.
Galata Tower, built by Genoese settlers in 1348 as an expansion of their colony on the north shore of the city. Galata Tower was the key component to a larger defensive structure, most of which had been dismantled by the time of the Ottomans. In the 17th century, the tower was purported to have served as the launch point for one of the earliest sustained unpowered attempts at human flight. According to the reports from a traveling historian, a man named Herzafin Ahmet Jalabai strapped himself into a homemade glider one fine day in 1632 and threw himself off the tower's cornice. According to this one, and the only eyewitness, Herzafin's flight took him over the Galata and across the Bosphorus waterway, where he landed safely on the shore of the Asian continent. Awed by his apparently supernatural abilities, the Sultan Murad paid Herzafin a fat bag of gold coins, then banished him to Algeria, where he died some years later. Later, in the 18th century, the Ottomans began using the tower to spot fires in and around the city, but by the late 20th century, the only fires of any concern to visitors of Galata Tower were those burning up the floor of the nightclub built at the tower's apex. That's right, dinner and dancing for a modest price, high above the world. A far cry from the rather staid impulses of the Middle Ages, no? Before heading inside, I noticed a few viewpoints. We should go and check them out, at least as many as we can. Climbing all the way to the top of the Galata, we find a memoir page, and we can collect it before heading down and activating the viewpoint. What a magnificent view from here. You can see across the river, the whole city. No wonder there's a nightclub up there now. I definitely would not jump off of this. But there you have it. At this point, I just decided to head back. I was curious what the story could bring. So we go back to the door and witness what the assassins here have to offer.
Mentor, say hello to your extended family.
Salute a voi, assassini. It is an honor to find such fast friends so far from home.
You see, brothers? Our mentor is not afraid to weep openly in front of pupils.
Do not worry. I will not make a habit out of it.
Ezio and I were ambushed on the way here. I'd like some of you to do a sweep of the area. Hey, man! And you, Ezio. Your weapons and armor are in a pitiful state. Maybe find some money and repair what you can. There is a blacksmith nearby. He's a friend.
Buona idea.
Upgrade and explore. Ezio's equipment is not in good condition. Explore Galata district and get re-equipped. Yes, I suppose it's a good idea. However, I don't know why Ezio left all of his things behind. Perhaps they were too cumbersome for his travels. Money wouldn't have been a problem unless there was no such thing as an exchange back in that day. I'm not quite sure how all of that works. Systemic events might occur as you walk around the city. Citizens in need of help may reward you for your assistance. You can buy new gear, of course, at the blacksmith. Looks like we can't buy anything. We need to get money first. We have $300. Let's... This isn't the right blacksmith, perhaps? Visit a bank to collect your income. Chests. We can again buy the maps of the treasure chests and other items, so I'm not going to go through them as I did before on Assassin's Creed 2. And this lady is super mad that we stole from her, and now I kind of feel bad for doing that, but we're just gonna hide her. Have a good nap in the wall. For whatever reason, we are now able to purchase the armor. And we get the Azap leather spalders.
I may be expensive. The price of excellence can
It's actually only
be
one.
measured in gold. Much gold.
But that's alright. We'll head back to our quest.
Praise the heavens! We feared we had lost our mentor to the vices of the big city.
I am content with my own vices, grazie.
So, what's on your mind, Ezio?
Tell me more about the Templars. You call them Byzantines, but the Byzantine Empire was overthrown 60 years ago.
These men are remnants of a line loyal to the cause of the last emperor, Constantine XI. Who leads them now, however? I cannot say.
Capisco. I suppose it is up to me to find out.
Ezio, where is your hook blade?
My hook blade.
You've never seen one? I grew up using these.
Show me how it works.
The hook blade. Follow Yusuf to learn how to use your new hook blade. Perform every hook blade move successfully at least once for full synchronization. That is very new, and it's just given to us, which is pretty nice.
Think of the hook blade as an extension of yourself, Ezio.
Well, it'll take a little bit getting used to, but
I must hurry.
I think it'll be okay. See? Look at that. We're natural. Some little floating thing down there. We'll have to find out what that is later. You serious? Are you? Did you
think
fall?
I cannot make this one? Didn't break a sweat.
Okay, that's kind of cool, but still, it's stupid. Like, we were just up there.
How does he do that?
Watch and learn, Ezio. We call this a hook and run. Sprint at your opponent, and just as you reach him, use the hook blade to slip by.
Okay, those directions are as clear as mud. Let's figure something out. See what I mean? Boom.
Shahane!
I feel like that would hurt a lot.
Harika! Shahat!
Ow, yeah. There's like blood coming out of there. I mean, it's a cool move, but like, yeah, I wouldn't want that thing jamming into my shoulder, making me bleed on my back and stuff. What's this bad music for? What the heck? Stalkers are Templars sent to stalk and kill you when you least expect it. Find and kill them before they kill you. What? Beware of stalkers. Stalkers are inconspicuous Templar agents who lurk in crowds waiting. What the heck? The guy just stabbed me. Oh, okay, database entry. Ottomans. The Battle of Bifus, fought just 50 kilometers to the east of Constantinople in 1301, marks the first recorded mention of the Ottomans in world history. Led by a man called Osman, this modest army of Turks won a stunning victory over their Byzantine opponents, routing them from the battlefield and driving them north to the edge of the Sea of Marmara. The defeat shocked the complacent Byzantines, who had already been struggling for decades to maintain a grip on the region. Over the next 150 years, the strength and size of the Ottoman Empire grew, practically unhindered, winning victory after victory. The Ottoman sultans slowly but surely engulfed regions once controlled by the mighty Byzantine Empire. First in Anatolia, now modern Turkey, then in Thrace, present-day Hungary, Greece, and Macedonia, Albania, etc. Over time, the Ottomans' increasing presence in Eastern Europe began to worry the West, and most especially irked the Vatican, whose hatred of Eastern Orthodox Church now seemed a mere quarrel over systemics in light of the encroaching Islamic Empire. But when push came to shove, even the Pope could not be bothered to send aid to the ailing Byzantine emperor, whose empire, by the middle of the 15th century, contained only the capital Constantanople and its surrounding villages. Then, at last, in 1453, after 54 days of fighting, Constantinople fell to the Ottomans too. Led by their Sultan, 21-year-old Mehmet II, the Jaussenaries poured through a breach in the wall into the city. Upon entering the city center, the victorious Sultan headed straight for renowned Hagia Sophia. Reaching the ancient cathedral, he fell to the ground and sprinkled some raw earth over his turban as a sign of respect. Eager to relocate the capital to the shores of the Bosphorus, Mehmet's first order of business was to rebuild Constantinople, now rendered as Constantini in Turkish, and colloquially called Istanbul by many of its residents, as a model city for cosmopolitan empire. In the decades after the conquest, he was careful to preserve what he could of the old Byzantine capital, while imbuing everything with modern Ottoman meaning. In this, Sultan Mehmet must be considered a success, for in little more than a few decades, the population exploded from a paltry 40,000 citizens to well over 100,000 Muslims, Christians, Jews, and Romani. People flocked to the cities from the east, west, drawn to the capital, bursting with commercial life in the heart of an empire that valued religious and cultural diversity not only by tradition, but by rule of law. Okay, now let's capture this lackey Templar. Oh, gotta hook blade him. Oh my gosh, what was that noise? Get him! Oh, you're done with the hook blade. Okay, we got some money and some poison, some shrapnel. He had poison on him. We got shrapnel. Is a collection of sharp metal objects. I mean, I know what shrapnel is. But he had poison on him but didn't use it. Kind of a mistake, I guess.
The standard Ottoman hook blade has two parts, you see. The hook and the blade. So you can use one or the other. An elegant design. How about a bigger challenge?
Va bene, let's go.
The view from Galata. Ezio is now the proud owner of an Ottoman hook blade and needs a bit of training to master it. Training Yusuf is more than happy to provide. Okay, so a couple of things. I just got done climbing this to do the viewpoint.
Having fun?
Yes. 2, he just completely ignored that guy that stabbed
That's right.
me.
Let the hook blade do the work.
Yusuf, I don't know if this is any easier, because I
İşte böyle. Throw yourself into it.
did this earlier without this, and I got all the way up here.
Welcome to Constantinople, Ezio. The crossroads of the world. Many generations of men have ruled the city, but they have never subdued her. She always bounces back.
It seems a fine place to call home.
It is. Race you to the bottom?
I'm impressed, Yusuf. My brothers in Roma would like this.
Just give credit where it is due.
Yusuf, çabuk buraya gel.
Huh?
An attack on two fronts, Galata and the Grand Bazaar.
Every day the same bad news. How is your appetite for swordplay?
I do what I must.
Good man.
Advanced tactics. Word has reached Yusuf that the Templars are attacking two separate assassin dens. Follow Yusuf while he conceives a plan. Perform a zipline assassination for full synchronization. You see him bump me? Systemic events might... Oh yeah, we already read that. Thank you.
When he tires of running, an assassin must take to the air. Watch.
Fun, very cool. I assume that that's a rope and that it has to be replaced on a very regular basis unless this thing has a wheel on it.
A Templar scout. And another there. Watch this. Assassin! Help!
Sick!
Time to part company. I'll head to the bazaar. You stay here. Do you see that tower?
See, the Galata Den.
Evet. I can't be in two places at once, but with you here, I don't have to be. Haydi rastgele.
Go to the Assassin Den. Alright. The Galata Assassin Den. And let's see what we need to do there. Okay, we've made it. Might as well get this viewpoint. And then we gotta drop down and go to our actual objective.
Unebuk, Sheriff Usta. Is Yusuf with you?
An attack in this city demands his attention. What is our situation?
We beat back the vanguard, but they are sure to send more troops.
Are your men ready for another fight?
They are now.
On the defense, the Templars are preparing to attack the Galata assassin den. Lead your fellow assassins in the defense. Alright, so the way that this all works is that we actually can place where our assassins go a little bit. I mean, they can't go on the street, clearly, but it kind of tells you where they can go. You can upgrade your wall down there, and then the troops would come in, and your assassins would kill them. There's different types of guys you can put up here, and at some point your dens can actually be attacked by the Templars, and the area becomes like contested. So once that happens, then they can actually take over the area. That was a jump scare. They can actually take over the area, and then you have to go and take it back. But what I found out is that if we do all of these really, really quick and we take over every single one of them, I don't think that they ever attack the area again to take it over. And that's what happened. So I just didn't worry about this until I worried about all of them. And yeah, I ended up, it just doesn't, I just never got attacked. Gosh, it's just so loud. But yeah, as you can see, there's some cool barricades that'll stop these guys, their advance as well. But, you know, stronger troops and things like that, they can really break through them kind of quick. Yeah, but that being said, you can upgrade them. Well, I wish I could place my assassin leader down, but I can't, which is fine, whatever. Oh, there we go.
Hold that point.
Not that it matters. Ooh, what's this? A rifleman.
Make your stand there. Hold there.
Yeah, the assassins have quite a bit of a presence if we can just summon them. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's a fun little mini game, you know. It's pretty cool. And of course, it gives us more walls, and we can upgrade, or at least fix them. Now, I'm not sure, these guys seem to just come from that road, but like you saw, there was some stairs there, and I don't think that anybody comes from those stairs. And as you can see, they're almost through our wall. Now we have, what, 8 more waves to go. So you can get the gist of it. I'm going to speed us through the last 8. So, yeah, here we go. Oh joy. A ram. And it absolutely destroys the rest of our fortified wall there. Yeah, okay, so our unupgraded walls take about 3 hits, and we're not even a quarter away through their health. Okay, so by now I'm sure you can tell, but we're not even halfway done with this guy's health. We just don't have what it took. He'll break through this and then start crashing into our actual base. Now, at that point, I ended up restarting, knowing what I know, and then we'll show you the victory lap here. But as you can see, we're doing much better. Already have about half of his health down. By the time he gets past this barricade, which we've upgraded quite a bit, he'll be most of the way dead. And he'll fail right about here before he gets to our brand new wall. And with that, it gives us den defense completed, and it gives us some stats. We lost 2 assassins. We called 25 of them. Cannon fired 7. 3% of sync. Money, it gives us rewards, experience for our assassins. Some stuff that we can use. And a new unit for our defensive guys.
Send word if the Templars regroup. I will be with Yusuf at the Grand Bazaar Den.
Take a ferry across the Halij. It's the fastest way to the peninsula.
I guess we'll go and find ourselves a ferry. While making it over to the ferry, we find our favorite mercenaries. Mercenaries were highly mobile in the 16th century, moving from one contract to the next with ease, irrespective of who they were fighting and what they were fighting for. Often, when a state bankrolling a band of mercenaries ran out of money, the group would disband, only to be immediately hired by the opposite side. This ironic practice reached its most poignant heights in the beginning of the 15th century, when the Byzantine Empire, beset on all sides by hostile tribes, paid a small but fierce group of warriors to fight for their cause, who were these sought-after soldiers for hire, Ottomans. Some mercenaries were honorable, of course, fighting for causes they believed in, but in times of hardship and perpetual strife, such men as these were far and few between. Where they existed, however, they were much sought after. Moments later, we will run by a doctor, and his database entry pops up. Doctors, because of Constantinople's unique geographic position on the boundary between Europe and Asia, doctors in the Ottoman Empire were well versed in the traditions of Eastern and Western medicine, which meant, depending on your perspective, that they were either doubly educated or doubly confused. From the Greeks, the Ottomans had inherited a fondness for bloodletting and the application of leeches to cure diseases, and from the Turks they retained a passion for cauterizing wounds and convalescing in hot springs. Herbal folk medicines were also in widespread use. One Ottoman medicinal tome names over 600 different herbs with purported medicinal properties. Despite the nascent state of medicine at the time, the Ottoman Empire was notable for the fact that its hospitals charged no fees. Citizens with money, however, were still more likely to hire private physicians. Some things never change, do they?
All of good health.
Certainly, I do not mind the local custom.
Wandering about on our way, we find a tailor.
Silks of the finest.
Tailors. Working as a tailor was a lucrative and respectable vocation which anyone, regardless of ethnicity or religion, could aspire to in the Ottoman Empire, and one which benefited immensely from the cross-pollination of cultures mixing in the streets and bazaars of Constantinople. Because of the empire's broad expanse, Ottoman fabrics were famous for their vibrant colors, busy patterns, and incredible level of detail. Drawn from cultures as far east as Persia and as far west as Greece, a true melting pot of sartorial splendor. After visiting the tailor, we can climb a nearby tower to take in the sights. Wandering around a bit more, we find something new. A bookshop. Bookshop. Johannes Gutenberg's upgrade of the centuries-old movable type press in the middle of the 15th century stands as one of the most significant technological advances ever known. For the first time in human history, the production and dissemination of books of all kinds in all languages no longer required a skilled copyist and many patient months of work. Now, a book could be set in a few weeks and copied innumerable times in a very short period. As a result, books got cheaper and were readily available to the newly emerging middle class. In this one, we find several books: geography, history of the kings of Britain, the Odyssey. I'm sure there will be many more. And of course, the district's treasure maps that I spoke of earlier. After some more exploring of Constantinople, we can finally head back to the river and get to our ferry to cross it. And unfortunately, I've run out of time, and this is where we'll end today's episode. I'd like to thank anyone for watching, and please tell me if you enjoyed, what I can change. Any comments would be just great. I'll look forward to seeing you next time as we continue to explore Istanbul. So have a wonderful day. Goodbye.